Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Dan Edwards, and I'm proud to be a part of this very special evening with Zoe Dell Nutter. And let me talk to you about this incredible story of Zoe Dell Landis Nutter. It began on June 14, 1915 in Western Oregon.
I was born on the top of a mountain in Oregon on a Civil War grant of my grandfather, who was born 2 miles from where I live, my grandfather. And I didn't know that till I moved back here.
At an early age, Zoe Dell spent a summer with her aunt in Seattle, and it was clearly a life-changing experience for her. She went to the theater almost daily, and when she saw the dancers there, she decided she wanted to be a dancer more than anything. When her family later moved to Medford, Oregon, she quickly discovered her next-door neighbor was a dance instructor.
She says, "Well, you do my dishes. I'll give you all the dancing lessons you want." And so I'd go after school, do her dancing, do her dishes, then go down and take dance class.
By the age of 18, Zoe Dell ventured to San Francisco with dancing in her heart. Before long, she was performing with the San Francisco Ballet and continued to learn from the best, including Mr. Bojangles. In 1937, her movements at a ballet performance impressed an agent who offered her the job of crisscrossing the United States by plane to promote San Francisco's 1939 Golden Gate International Exposition and promote air travel in general. In those days, many seats were empty on commercial airline flights because people believed flying was dangerous. Well, Zoe Dell had never flown in a plane before, but she took the job and soon proved to be a natural at public relations and speaking. She turned her role as a theme girl pirate from Treasure Island into a sensational success. Zoe Dell literally helped to change the way Americans felt about flying. She logged more than 100,000 miles in the air and told every audience, the most dangerous part of your flight is your trip to the airport. Well, through her efforts, the empty seats in 6 major airlines began to fill. Life magazine featured her in its February 7, 1938 issue, and she was soon dubbed the most photographed woman in the world. In 1942, back surgery ended Zoe Dell's dance career. She was devastated because she wanted to support her country during World War II by touring with the USO. Well, a good friend suggested she turn her attention to aviation. She found she loved it as much as dancing.
Well, I could fly before I ever moved back here, so I just flew wherever I wanted to go. I lived in Northern California, and I liked it very much.
Zoe Dell would regularly dress in fashion, hop in an airplane, and fly herself 45 minutes into San Francisco to be in the heart of the shopping district by 10 a.m. Zoe Dell's new interest in flying also meant that her time in the spotlight and time with the famous and influential was far from over.
I learned to fly out the Las Vegas airport, and it was Howard Hughes that had a huge airplane. I used to just go and walk up in the airplane, sit down, watch him work on it. I thought he was very polite, and I really enjoyed it.
In 1958, Standard Oil asked Zoe Dell to serve as an official representative to the World's Fair in Brussels, Belgium. She traveled the globe to invite world leaders to the fair and, of course, to promote commercial air travel. She later became a flying ambassador to the Century 21 Exposition in Seattle in 1961 and to the New York World's Fair in 1964. At that same time, William Piper of Piper Aircraft shrewdly offered Zoe Dell a position. She eagerly agreed to market and demonstrate his highly respected airplanes and to sell flight courses. She actively promoted a pinch hitter course that taught women, often pilots' spouses, how to read navigational maps, use a radio and compass, and even land a plane in case of an emergency. Her work no doubt saved lives. Well, Zoe Dell's life took another turn in 1965 when Piper sent her to Dayton to examine a training aircraft for purchase. In the process, Zoe Dell met successful Dayton businessman Ervin Nutter. Although she recommended that Piper not consider the plane, Zoe Dell married Nutter after a whirlwind courtship. Erv was then the CEO and president of Elano Corporation. Zoe Dell became a valuable resource for Erv, eagerly encouraged him as he tackled special projects. She then set out to take on a project of her own, solving the problem of frequent manifold failures in small aircraft engines. Erv assigned a company engineer to Zoe Dell to help her design and develop a manifold.
I borrowed the money from my husband to build it. I really wanted that to be just as perfect as it could get. And I made a fuss about it for about 2 years and finally got a call, Elano, or his company, and they wanted to know if they knew this woman that had an engine that didn't have to replace the manifold. She said, "Do you know who she is?" And he said, "Oh, you bet I know who she is."
To Zoe Dell's credit, the exhaust manifold she helped develop became standard equipment in the industry. When Zoe Dell came to Dayton in 1965, she felt that too little recognition was being given to the Wright brothers, and she set out to change that. She campaigned successfully for the U.S. Congress to recognize Dayton, Ohio as the world's official birthplace of aviation. She soon became involved with the National Aviation Hall of Fame and began promoting their programs, bringing larger audiences and increasing membership. She joined their board and was later elected as their first woman president. Zoe Dell also has been a key supporter of the living legends of aviation, helping them benefit from celebrity exposure at a Hollywood venue. The many awards Zoe Dell has earned for her accomplishments include the Ohio Governor's Award in 1999, the prestigious Lincoln Medal from Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., presented by First Lady Laura Bush and President George W. Bush, the Bob Hoover Freedom of Flight Award, and the designation of the First Lady of Aviation by the Living Legends of Aviation, and the inaugural Spirit of Innovation Award by Wright State University for her visionary and courageous spirit. Zoe Dell Nutter learned to fly at a time when women were discouraged from being pilots. She has logged over 2,000 flight hours, holding commercial and multi-engine ratings.
I got my instrument rating in Chicago, and I figured if you could get with weather they have, you can fly any place. It'll test you out.
She also helped on the Nutter family farm, breeding cattle, harvesting the crops, and helping with anything that nobody else seemed to want to do at the time.
I could drive anything. I could drive harvesters and all sorts of things. Of course, my mother didn't want me to do things like that.
Yes, Zoe Dell Nutter has always characterized her life by forging ahead and taking on new challenges. And because of this, we know her as a striking example of what a human can do when you have a tireless and generous spirit. Zoe Dell, you are one hell of a woman, and we celebrate your triumph tonight. Happy birthday, Zoe Dell.